sounds like music. In short, expandable to 10,000 rooms if you want. It's network upgradable. Almost no latency, so if you want to do 50 rooms in a mansion and walk from room to room, you're not going to hear that echo. 6 users can stream 6 different selections of music at the same time. You can do it audio file grade, or you can go all the way downstream and get a networked amplifier and run it through a pair of Nail speakers if you want. Hey, network storage stuff on.
Thanks. Sure. What's new in this will be the first time you guys have seen this, we actually provide a lot of tools for being able to go in and configure network storage without having to run a specialized application. All that can be done from a web browser, for example. I'll back out here so you can see how this works. All of our servers effectively function on the basis that all control is done over IP. Whether you're talking about AMX, Crestron, control from a browser, or from an iPhone or iPod Touch. All of those things are supported not just for local playback, but for also for network transmission. And you're able to go through and configure your network attached storage in 2 different ways. You can go through and scan anything on the network that's a PC share or a Mac or a Linux share, as long as it's offering up a Samba or Windows share. Very easy to configure. You will also pick up any network attached storage. Likewise, once you've got network attached storage, it'll give you a list of everything that's there. You can go through, disable specific folders, enable the host, basically sub-segment it as much as you want. The next level up from a network share is a music store. And the music store effectively allows you to rip to the NAS directly. And you can actually set the priority for how that's done, so that if you run out of internal space, or maybe you just want to rip to the NAS from the get-go. Another thing that's quite handy with that is, if you're doing an outsourcing of disk ripping with a client, you can basically go out, get the metadata from a place that supports AMG metadata, park that on the network, create a network share, elevate it to a music store. All the metadata, all the artwork comes up, it's easily accessed and exposed. So it saves you an incredible amount of hassle from that perspective. And that's actually a pretty interesting way to do this. In addition to that, what Wayne was discussing was the 6 streams that you're able to do via NameNet, via our room amps or what have you. One of the things that we've also just introduced is the ability to do 6 streams via UPnP. So if you do any devices that do UPnP playback or rendering, say like a Denon receiver or whatever else, you can pick up what's on and inside the server, either network attached storage or what have you, from a UPnP device. This is our all-in-one unit called the Naim Unity. It's a CD player, integrated amp, tuner, internet radio, FM, what have you. And the way this works is, I can basically pick up from this particular device here, or the other server that's over there, and browse the entire collection of what's on the server. It's got Wi-Fi on it as well as Ethernet, so you can park these clients in a bunch of different rooms and have a central Naim server that's handling backups, storage management, metadata, the whole 9 yards. Very flexible, very easy to use, and again, very easy to control. The same interface that you see via web browser and Flash is going to be the same thing you see on the Crestron and AMX module as well. So we've got full support for that top to bottom.
You have the
Yes, I do, actually. Actually, my phone's up. Highlights, here we go. Great. So as far as network transmission goes, I can control any room in the place from an iPod Touch. Not only can I do music and audio, but I can also do things like network cameras, or security, for example. If somebody walks in the front door, I can have it mute the music, come up with a little thing on the camera to see who's walking through the door. So that's pretty handy. On the AV side, I can browse right from the iPod Touch to see what's going on with what's on the machine. Searches by albums, searches by artist, searches by performer, the whole 9 yards. And all that is essentially covered in one application. I can also see what's on various network shares. Maybe I want to see what's on my wife's computer, for example. What's on the share, see what comes up album-wise. In this case, I've got 2 network shares. One is a NAS drive down in the bottom of this, and the other one is this other server. So it's very easy to go through and browse what's on those as well. Same thing applies to anyone's Mac or PC in that regard. If you've got a iTunes music library with playlists, we have a utility that actually pulls the playlist information across, leaves the audio files on that machine, and exposes it to share to the network. It allows you to play it right off the PC or Mac, which makes it very, very easy to integrate in that respect.
It shows up in one library?
That's right. You can also browse by subsection. For example, browse music, music location. I can browse what's collected on the server itself or within the music stores, if you will. I can browse what's in the network shares. Or I can browse anything that's on a USB stick, whether it be a flash drive, an attached hard drive, 4 ports on the back, 1 port on the front.
How do we handle purchased iTunes music?
We do not support DRM music from iTunes. Most people can generally DRM their music with the iTunes Plus aspect of things.
When he was talking about the USB keys, you can record something